Hey guys, what's going on? This is Cool Toys, and what I have here in front of me today is the paint job that I was doing on this pickup truck. I am going to start to remove the tape now. I let it sit for way too long. I had other things going on. Really, like, within 24 hours I should have removed the tape, so hopefully it won't be like real sticky on there and not want to come off. But we'll just see where it goes from here. Underneath the yellow tape should be black. There you go. I mean, it's showing through. You may not be able to see it on the camera that well because I was using my airbrush to paint over this. Yeah, the tape is on there pretty good. So I'm gonna, pick at this a little bit and, pull some pieces off camera so y'all don't have to sit through me going through like 20,000 pieces of tape. I have to remove. All these pliers are like missing a piece. That's why I wasn't grabbing on there. Yeah, the tape is kind of sticking on there. I should have really taken this off, like I said, within 24 hours. So without further ado, I will pause the camera and come back to you guys. Y'all stand by. Okay guys, I'm back. I removed all the tape. So what they call this is like a 50-footer. I mean, it looks good from 50 feet away, but I do need to touch up. I'm gonna just use some regular paint that I was using earlier with brushes instead of an airbrush, just to put a thicker coat on here, and hopefully it'll come out a lot better. You can see where I removed the tape. You can see the black, but the paint is really glossy. That's because it was, straight from the factory, black plastic on the truck itself. The hood isn't too bad. I mean, these spots here is still some of the tape residue. I just need to remove with my finger like I did there. But, I think it'll come out better once I add some more paint to it. So, it's an ongoing process. You're not going to just finish it in just one spray. But, you at least kind of get the idea where I'm going. You got some brown, black, and green. This green does need to be put on a lot thicker, and hopefully it will be. You're supposed to sand the vehicle down before you do all the painting and priming and all that, blah, blah, blah. But, excuse me, I'm just going to paint it. So stand by. All right, we'll do some strokes together while I have the camera on. Here's the green going on. You want to kind of do like wavy motions, like nothing that's really like straight lines, really, unless you want like a Tiger Force color pattern. You want to do thick in some areas and thin in the others. And it will take multiple coats once it dries, and just to make it look a lot better. So, what have you guys done this weekend? Do you guys have any hobbies that you enjoy doing? It could be anything, fishing, camping, besides toys. This channel's mostly about toys, but people do other things, gardening, cut their grass, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat. But, I find the toy community is really special and interesting because, it brings back those childhood memories. When you were a child, carefree, nothing to worry about. You would go to the store or the mall with your parents, and parents would go into KB Toys or Toys R Us or what have you, and let you get a like shut up toy. Basically one of those toys to just like keep a kid quiet and shut them up for a while. It could be mostly, it depends what was going on. Of course, your parents, when their payday was, when they would have expendable money, money that they can use to, keep you happy with more expensive toys, or just a toy that was just, $1.99, something just to keep you quiet while your parents were trying to shop. They got you a little like GoBot, or a GI Joe action figure. You would be opening that thing up and playing with it, hopefully after your parents paid for it, and when they're doing the rest of their shopping, say they took you to the toy store first, and then after you got your toy, you would open it up because your mom still needed to go to Sears or J.C. Penney or something like that. And then that way, you be playing with that action figure and being quiet and not bothering your parents. That's how it was with me and my brother. So pretty sure that's how it was with other kids out there, especially you guys. Maybe you're watching this video from another country. Sorry, it wasn't in frame right there. But yeah, if you're from another country, no matter where you're from, kids are the same. Parents are pretty much the same. They just want to make sure their child is happy as much as possible. But then, when it came to buying toys when it wasn't your birthday or something, that's when at least for me, speaking for me, I wouldn't get, something expensive. My mother was real adamant about not buying my brother and I any Transformers. I don't know if it was because of the price. They were a little more expensive than, of course, a GI Joe. You could probably buy like maybe three GI Joe action figures for one Transformer figure. Um, so maybe that was it. Or maybe my mother's mindset was, hey, I had a lot more G.I. Joes. She felt more comfortable buying me G.I. Joe action figures because she knew I played with them all the time. And that's pretty much what I collected. I liked watching the G.I. Joe cartoon, but I would also watch the Transformers cartoon. I don't remember if G.I. Joe, the cartoon, came on first and then Transformers, but I believe, at least where I lived, it felt like that they would come on one after another, at least in my area, for a certain amount of time. So you guys let me know, was that the way it was where you lived in your state or country? Did Transformers come on first, or G.I. Joe, or one or the other? And were your parents more willing to buy you a G.I. Joe action figure than a Transformer? Transformers, at least in my area, seem to be more expensive. I'm gonna dabble with this. I still gotta add some more green in the other areas. I'm gonna put some more brown down, and then I'm gonna just maybe paint black, like a matte black over the black that I had taped up earlier. So I will be right back with you. Stand by. All right, this is where I am so far. And now I have the black. I did green and I did brown. Now I'm adding black to it. Because, like I was saying, the black was way too glossy because that was the original plastic for the vehicle. But, I mean, it is what it is. My phone just fell out of my tripod. But anyway, what I was saying, this is just, good enough for what I have in mind as like a display purposes, background piece, things like that. And you all get the picture. This isn't rocket science. It's something you all can do yourselves. Some paint. I'm not really a great artist. I was always good at like looking at a picture and drawing it by looking at a picture, but not just like coming up with something, in my head and drawing it from scratch. Um, some people are amazing. They can just like think of a scenery at a beach or a castle or whatever, I'm just saying. And they can like draw it better than it would be in a movie, or paint it better than it would look in real life. That's real talent, really amazing. But just for a vehicle that's going to be used, on a military installation, something that, like I said, I'm just going to have this in the background, and I may, play with it more in the future, putting some more paint on it. But I think it's coming out pretty good. Once it all dries, I'm going to put an action figure in it, and put it in the dioramas. You'll definitely see it in future videos. So let me finish this up, and I'll come back with you guys. Also, I just wanted to do this shot here. The guys hanging out, getting ready to get in the vehicle and drive around. I have a forklift vehicle that I'll probably set up as a diorama to load pallets and things, maybe even fuel drums in the back of this pickup truck so these guys can transport it around base, take it to the flight line or the motor pool, pick up supplies from the supply warehouse. All right. All right, guys, I'm back. So this is what you call good enough for now. I did the paint job. It's actually still wet and drying, but I just wanted to put some figures next to it. I still got some tape on the tire there. But this is what you can do with a regular pickup truck that you buy from Walmart or whatever toy line that fits your 3 3/4, 4-inch action figures. Pickup truck is pretty cool to have in your fleet of vehicles, especially in a GI Joe motor pool. It being a military vehicle, it needs some type of camouflage. You could keep it black as a civilian pickup truck on the base, just doing base operations, moving things around to the supply warehouse, things like that. I don't know why I can't talk, but these are my guys. These are my Joes standing by. Got some other vehicles in the background. I painted those a while ago. It's just straight green. That was, I believe, a white truck, and that was like, I don't know, blue or orange, probably orange. And then we got the speedboat, quick kick speedboat in the back. So y'all let me know what you think. Please comment, like, subscribe. This was Cool Toys. Later.